Okay, we've got the question here. The heartburn. All right, heartburn is something that is so common. Look at all the antacids and stuff like that out there. It's very, very common. This is a question from Jay Lee in my coaching group, durianrider.com. You can ask me any questions. Primarily, people ask me questions about weight loss, cycling, running, relationships, women, men, etc., anabolics, the works, man. Whatever my videos are about, people ask me about retiring at age 37 like I did, things like that, travel, simplifying your life, vasectomy questions, just anything, man. Ask me, please, in the group, durianrider.com, coaching group. This one's from Jay. Great question. All right. So Jay says, thank you for having me in the group. You're the boss. I'm excited to be here. I paid him to say that. Just kidding. I did. Yes, I did. So I have been having heartburn after eating my smoothies in the morning. I have 7. Okay, so we've got heartburn. Now, Jane's come from a history of, quite horrific digestion experiences. He said he had blood in his stool, sort of like, so he's coming from, some bad places, or less than optimal places. So he's getting better. He's feeling better, which is the main thing. But this heartburn is giving some issues. So he has 7 bananas and 7 tablespoons of sugar blended with water in the morning. It's been around 3 or 4 months, and the heartburn is on and off. Okay, that's good. So it's on and off, which is some sort of trigger. I'm waiting for things to get better, but I just want to make sure I'm on the right track. Yes, you are. You are on the right track, Jay. When I tell people, they blame it the sugar. So my questions are: any tips on getting the heartburn down, and how long does it take for the digestive system to adapt to a high carb, high sugar diet? Is basically my protocols. How long does it take? It's instant, man. It's like when you're not putting the meat down in your gut. You're not eating the meats and the freaking, the oils. There's meat and oil, man, and dairy. Dairy is very an allergen for a lot of people. Honey is an allergen for a lot of people. The pollen. When you stop putting those things down, like within seconds, that your body's like, okay, we've finished that. It's like when we stop hammering our knee with a hammer, or when we stop kicking the tow bar in our car with our shin, that very second, the body can go into healing, okay? Because we've removed the irritation. Now, that's why people have shellfish allergies, dairy allergies, meat allergies, pollen allergies, and then when we miscombine foods, when we have, go and have your Sunday lunch and then you have some watermelon afterwards and go, oh, I've got gut pain, then the doctor or the nutritionist said, oh, you've got a fructose allergy. No, you don't have a fructose allergy, you've got a food combining issue. You can't just mix all these foods together and expect a perfect digestion. I mean, food combining is not recognized by mainstream medicine. It's not. But food combining is critical to managing good digestion and avoiding heartburn. So let's look at some of the factors that cause heartburn. For me, triggers for me would be chili, onion, garlic, being a bit dehydrated, like not having clear urine, stress. I mean, now I'm starting to go into things that can affect anyone out there. So all these things can affect anyone. Can be heartburn triggers, can be clothing. Like if you're wearing like a tie and you're sort of like stiff in a jacket, or you got a backpack on one shoulder and you're sort of, how you sleep as well. If you're sleeping on your stomach or your side, or just something that can trigger it. Your tension in the neck can trigger it. But in terms of food, chili, onion, garlic. In terms of the plant foods, chili, onion, garlic, cacao, caffeine, coffee, tea, guarana, cacao, chili, onion, garlic, spices, cardamom pods. They're the foods in the vegan world that can trigger oil, and I don't want to be bad food combining. Let's say you're eating fruit on top of your starches and stuff. That can definitely cause some issues there. So I would avoid mixing those things together. If you mix all these things together, get your standard diet, what people would eat, and then just mix it all in a plastic bag. You can put your meat in there, your fish and your freaking dairy and your cheese and your some rice and some fruit and some watermelon and some beer and some coffee. Shake it all up and then put it in a little oven of 38 degrees Celsius or whatever, right? And come back 12 hours later and have a whiff of that. You tell me that's really combined really well. Now do that with just fruit and come back and have a whiff. You know what I mean? So it's a huge difference how we digest food, man. How we combine food is very important. That's why when you leave out Yeah, the animal products. I find that, man. Like I've done my experimentations over the years, and I've been on my protocols for like 20 something years, and a few variations here and there, but the same baseline. And yeah, man, these things make a difference. The bacteria that are required to digest animal products are different to the plants. So yeah, that's why my protocols are the best for digestion. And how I got to these protocols is because my digestion. I was eating desks. My digestion was just so horrendous, man. So I was just eliminating things. But I wanted to have elite level performance as a cyclist and runner. Elite for me, just be able to do whatever I want. And I'm not a gun athlete. I wasn't born a gun athlete. I didn't really train hard. I just changed my nutrition. Looked at my red blood cell count and did things like that. Some manipulation there, and that's what got me to decent, okay level. But I'm definitely not like a natural gun. I wasn't a high school phenom. I wasn't like at 18 and people were like, wow, this person's really good. I was at 18. I was catching a freaking bus like 1K to freaking school. When I was 17, I was catching a bus 1 kilometer to school. Literally, I think it was 1.2K when I was age 17, catching a bus to school. And I liked cycling, but I just didn't have the fitness and energy. So that's the deal there. I remember when I was 18, I did a 13K bike ride. 13Ks, and I was knackered, mate. Absolutely knackered. 18, riding 13K. So yeah, that's where I'm coming from. But let's look at some medications that can cause heartburn. Off the bat, you got your SSRI medications. You've got Viagra, Cialis. They can cause it. Some anabolics can cause it, like Winstrol, stanozolol, Winstrol, Anadrol. Any medication can trigger heartburn in some people. Right? Most medications can trigger heartburn. Some vitamin supplements, beta alanine, carnitine can trigger that. So yeah, just eliminate all your medications, excluding insulin if you're type 1 diabetic. Or I shouldn't say exclude them. I should say make note that they could be, they could be the cause of heartburn, people, okay? They could be the cause of heartburn. It's all about having this bodily awareness. People are like, I don't want to be a hypochondriac. No, it's not being a hypochondriac. It's just being aware. Okay, if I take this tablet, next day, I've got this heartburn's come back. So with Jay, his heartburn's coming and going, okay, which is great because that means there's a trigger. Some days it's there, some days it's not. So there's a trigger. Okay, there's a trigger we're looking for. So it's about being a detective, a nutritional, a health detective, performance detective. One day I'm riding my bike really well, putting out the watts. Next day I can't do the watts. What's going on? And one day I can got really good breathing. Next day my asthma's really bad. What's going on? Is it the pollen count? Oh yeah, but the pollen count was high last time and it had no issue. Pollen count's lower today, but my asthma's worse. I've got too much fat in my diet. And that fat's making my blood thick in a bad way. It's not increasing my red blood cell count thickness, it's increasing the coagulation and aggregation of the red blood cells, erythrocyte aggregation. It's making my red blood cells stick together and I can't breathe as well. The oxygen uptake transfer delivery is less. So it's about being a detective, all right? It's definitely not sugar because we know sugar dissolves effortlessly. Like literally in hospital, they inject sugar into your veins. All right, they don't inject fat and protein in there, do they? They inject sugar, glucose into your veins. So that's just the deal there. Imagine injecting oil into the vein; it's going to kill you, literally. Literally, if you injected oil into your vein, you would die. That's why, yeah, it's crazy. That's why I'd laugh when they say sugar's bad. But anyway, sugar digests better than anything. Because sugar's pH neutral. So it also could be unripe fruit, and again, unripe fruit. I mean, I've got some orange juice here, and that's like, it's not made from ripe oranges, I can tell. They're very acidic. But
that's why you're supposed to put sugar in it like I do every single time.
There we go. Shake it up, baby. But it's just, but I wouldn't drink a lot of this stuff because I know it's acidic and it's probably going to trigger some heartburn. But a little bit's okay with some sugar in there as well.
It doesn't give me heartburn. I drink liters of it.
Do you ever get heartburn for anything?
Yeah, I do.
What, from what?
Chili.
There we go. Okay, chili. So, it's just about finding the triggers and looking at them. But yeah, sugar always gets the blame. You know, you fall over, break both your legs, the sugar. You get hit by a bus, it's the sugar. You get diabetes, it's the sugar. If you get heart disease, it's the sugar. If you get cancer, it's the sugar. It's like sugar doesn't cause any of these issues, ever. Higher blood sugar may be a symptom, but that's not from sugar. That's from insulin resistance from eating too much fat. But anyway, we digress. But the more fat we eat, the less we digest our food as well. Fat is just so hard to digest. It will slow things up, back up the system, and then we get some reflux going on there. So Jay, be a detective, be militant, and just be aware that anything can trigger it, okay? And on the days where you have no heartburn, backtrack and go, what did I do different today? And eventually you'll narrow it down, man. Just like you've got maybe 20, so let's say you got 20 crack addicts, that are stealing your bike or stealing something from your letterbox, right? But you try and work out which crack addict is it so you can take action and kick them out the street. So same with you got maybe 20 variables that could give you the heartburn, and now it's about eliminating those variables down so you can isolate the trigger of heartburn and then go from there. Does that make sense? We want to isolate the trigger by paying attention. So caffeine, all those things I just mentioned, that can all trigger heartburn. Great question. Let me know how you go.